Corey Johnson, New York City has had its own issues with a police department that big. Obviously, it's going to have these kinds of cases, Eric Garner and others over the years. But the George Floyd case was different everywhere, including New York City. Probably the largest protest you've ever had in New York City over police misconduct that took place somewhere else. And how did that inform the city council approaching this qualified immunity issue?
Well, Lawrence, first of all, thank you for having me. And, you know, what we saw in the Floyd trial today, I think is traumatizing because people are reliving the horror of watching George Floyd be murdered last May. And so in New York City, we have undertaken a series of bills to reform policing in our city. And I just want to mention, Lawrence, you've written, of course, about policing, but the legal doctrine of qualified immunity was created in 1967. And it's important for your viewers to understand it was created because the police were arresting 15 priests who were freedom riders in Mississippi. That case went to the Supreme Court, Pearson versus Ray, and that is where the legal doctrine of qualified immunity was created. It's not in the Constitution. It's not in any state constitution. It's not in any law across the country. It was created in 1967, created out of trying to be able to arrest freedom riders in Mississippi. And what has happened since then, as people have leaned on this and used this, so police officers who are violating people's civil rights, who are using excessive force, can basically say, we have no liability here because of qualified immunity. And the worst example, Lawrence, that we're seeing right now is the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James, has brought a lawsuit against the New York City Police Department for the excessive force used against protesters last summer, the protests that we're seeing on TV right now. And the New York City Police Department and the law department, which is representing the police department in New York City, is saying none of those cops who used excessive force last summer should be held liable because of qualified immunity. I mean, protesters that were protesting the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd, now we're saying those cops are exempt because of qualified immunity. We passed a bill on Thursday saying there is no more, we're limited qualified immunity for violations of the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, and the 14th Amendment, saying you no longer have that right. New York City is following the states of Colorado and Connecticut. New York City is larger population-wise than Colorado and Connecticut, and we hope that other police departments in cities and in states across the country follow our lead to end qualified immunity. It is a broken legal doctrine that never should have been created in 1967, and it's time to abolish it now.
And Mark, what Speaker Johnson is stressing for us is the importance of civil litigation here, which for observers like you and me was kind of the only litigation we saw for decades. Police officers simply were not getting criminally prosecuted for cases like this, the way Derek Chauvin is now. And the protest movement has definitely moved beyond the stage where civil litigation or even civil awards like that $27 million is a satisfactory outcome in cases like this. And so a lot rides on this criminal trial in Minneapolis.
Yeah, definitely. And in regards to qualified immunity and the decision in New York, it's hugely impactful for two reasons. One reason is because, as the speaker indicated, and what he's hoping for is that it's replicated throughout the nation. Other entities, other departments, other cities decide to follow this lead. And the second reason is because police officers will definitely respond to the elimination of qualified immunity, not just the limitation of it as other jurisdictions have done, but the actual elimination of qualified immunity really exposes individual police officers, and police officers will respond in one way or another. And their response may shift according to the time, because quite frankly, it should be expected that the knee-jerk reaction for police officers when you're talking about exposing them to the possibility of additional civil liability personally, the knee-jerk reaction is going to be for them to withdraw, to pull back while they recalibrate and determine their options, while they do a self-assessment, a risk cost analysis, if you will. So it is quite probable that activity from the police will decrease for at least a short period now. But the long-term impact is so positive because you will now have you now have legislation that can actually change the course of conduct of individual police officers, which is hugely significant when you're talking about trying to shift the police culture, and specifically toxic police culture. So when you hit police officers in their pockets, when you're increasing their civil liability, they will respond and begin to recalibrate their actions, and that leads to a better, more professional police agency.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.